Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Welcome to the Student International. Today with us there is Barbara from France, but currently in South Korea. Hi, Barbara. How's it going today?
Hi, Samuel. Yeah, it's going really well. I'm currently doing my minor in South Korea. So
Mhm.
I've been there since February and I will stay until the summer. So far, so good.
And before that, you were in Spain, right?
Yes, I spent a semester in Barcelona where I was doing my internship. So I worked in a startup in Spain and it was really amazing. I gained a lot of experience. I was working as a sales intern, but I was also doing administrative tasks. So I got to see a lot in the company.
Mm-hmm.
The company was actually a distributor of international brands. So, for example, they were distributing Caporal, School Rider, what else? Tom Taylor, Lego Wear in Spain.
Uh-huh.
So, in commercial centers and also online. It was a great experience.
Yeah, it's very fun because I could follow your experience through LinkedIn, and I was also very happy because you were the one of the first people I spoke to because you were my student orientational thingy, and you've been so helpful. So I was also very happy for you to
Thank
see your escalation to success. Let's say, okay, you went from Spain, you stayed in there 6 months, around one
you.
semester. Okay,
Yeah.
internship. How many months ago in Korea you arrived?
So that was from September till the end of January,
Okay.
and I arrived in South Korea around 20th of January. So from one continent, Europe, to completely the other side of the world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and how is it like? I have some more precise question, but I will just start with how is it like a general overview of your experience.
Yeah, honestly, it was really unexpected to do my minor here, but it's just been like full of experiencing, discovering things. I'm super happy I'm here. I met like incredible international friends. Kind of remind me of the first time I arrived in Vlissingen in
As
HZ.
yeah,
You know, just start up with international friends and you're here for the same reason, so you just connect with people.
Mhm.
And then the architecture, the temples, the culture is really different, but so interesting to learn about. So it's been just great going there. Of course, having there's also some benefits of online class because then you also have more time to explore. So
Which is what you're
that's
doing
also
right now, right? You went
yes,
somewhere. Okay,
yeah.
where did you went?
We went on different trips, but we went to Busan, which is like in the south, so by the coast. So city by the coast with the beach and everything. Great weather, by the way. It's about 20, 25, something like this. So it's really nice. I'm starting to get some color.
Yeah, yeah, from the weather of Hazard for sure. From the Netherlands,
Yeah,
the difference is
yeah.
so
The
clear.
weather is better.
In
Yeah,
South Korea.
yeah,
Mhm,
yeah.
okay. And what about the procedure to get there? Was it hard to establish connection through with the university? Was it hard with the language barriers? Is the main language in South Korea uh, s- Korean? Yes, but is there a
Yes.
second language like official language English or?
No, not really. That was actually one of the things that surprised me. I actually expected a little bit more people to speak English, but I would say mainly young people do. But for example, when you go to restaurants or going, for example, to the train station or stuff like this, sometimes it can be a little bit challenging. But you know, how useful is smartphone now with Google Translate? So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
really just like translated this way. And then people always sometimes they don't speak the language, but they will show you or always try to help.
The gesture
So
language.
it's not a problem, but not a lot of people speak good English, or Koreans are shy to speak it, I would say.
I see. Okay, that's a very interesting point of view. Did you do any Duolingo around South Korea? You know Duolingo, the learning app.
Yes, I know. I know.
Yeah.
I haven't used this app, but during my quarantine, because first I had to quarantine 14 days
Okay.
before
Yeah.
being able to go out. So I started to study a little bit with YouTube videos and websites as I
Yeah.
could. So I got to know the basic words like hi, thank you, you're welcome, stuff like this. But then I must say, like, yeah, I haven't really put so much efforts in it because it's just like 5 months, and then I think I'm not gonna use it too much.
I see. I
So
see.
yeah.
However, if a person would be slightly more interested and happen to be there in South Korea and says, okay, in 6 months I would try to learn my best South Korean. Do you see this happening in the realm of possibilities, or is it something far too complex?
Yeah, I think so because what people say is that the alphabet is not so hard.
Exactly.
So
That's what I heard as well.
when you actually know the alphabet, then you can read words, and that will help you a lot for going around, or just like some words have the same translation. For example, I think chicken in English and there is super similar, so stuff like this that will help you.
Yeah.
And but some people that are getting around a little bit more easily, they usually got interested beforehand, and then when they arrive, they already know, for example, the alphabet or a few words, so that helps.
Are you
But
referring to
also,
realistic, real cases that you know? Yeah, I guess so.
yeah,
Hmm.
some friends, yeah. And with our university, they make it's not part of our credits for university, but there is an association where they go every Saturday. They have a meeting that you can attend. So there is a possibility to learn. And of course, if you make Korean friends, then that's the best way to go.
Did you?
I met a few. I must say I was more with internationals.
Hmm.
It's also harder because, again, the classes are online,
No,
so
yeah,
we don't meet in
fully online.
person.
That's a pity, but I mean, also in my situation and in our situation of first year students after COVID, during COVID, I feel just very lucky to be even alive sometimes, really.
No.
Yeah, but now better things ahead, right? Now, I would like to ask you one moment where you realized that you made the right choice by taking a flight of how many hours of flight?
I had a stop, so it was 3 hours to Finland, to
Okay.
Copenhagen, and then something like 8-ish,
Okay.
more or less.
Okay. So you made 11 hours of flight from Spain, I guess. No, you were from France, right? Because you
First, I
visit your
went home.
family. Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember, I wrote you about that. Yeah. And you arrived in South Korea. When did you realize, after all the energy consuming process, that you made the right choice?
So it was kind of weird because I got off of quarantine. You've been isolated for 14 days. I arrived with my roommate. Actually, I already got in touch with my roommate before. They are from Denmark and Czech
Oh,
Republic.
nice, nice. I spent
So
6 months with a Danish girl as a roommate. That was the best time of my life. Okay, you can continue. Sorry.
really good people.
Yeah.
So we actually talked a little bit before, and they got out of quarantine 1 week before me. So I knew at least when I arrived at my real accommodation place, I already got to know them and their, same situation, girls and stuff like this.
Hmm.
And then we went out for dinner in the evening, and actually to a bar because they are open till 10. Of course, with restrictions, masks, and everything,
Okay.
but they're open. And then I just directly met people. Like it was so quick because they knew
Instant.
some people because they've been out for a week, and I just met them, and I was like, "Oh, damn, that's awesome!" Like it was almost overwhelming because 14 days alone, and then damn, so many people. But I was like, I'm gonna have fun. Like whenever I was like, okay, the adventure starts.
Yeah, yeah. So you realize, okay, I will do again 11 hours as much as I want, as much as I
I mean,
can. Hmm.
the flight doesn't bother me that much actually because I've traveled like 10 hours flight before, so I was like, it's okay.
I also don't have so much of a concern. I remember I did 24 hours by bus from Milan to England. Uh,
Oh wow.
it was wow, it was such an experience. Okay, what's your proudest accomplishment there?
Here,
Yeah.
um, I think I'm proud of the fact that I decided to move on my own. Like I was just like I went for it. Like I was a bit scared for COVID, and it was not the original plan. But I just like, okay, Barbara, like like it's once in a lifetime,
Hmm.
so it's now or never, you know. So I'm just proud that I took the decision and the risk to go. Yeah, like I never regret it. Like, and I didn't like a big cultural shock or feel like homesick. It just did not happen. So like,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like it's great.
I mean, I guess, by now it's embedded in your DNA, like the being like outside
True.
your own home
True.
country and everything. So
Exactly. Yeah.
plus
You you know this. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Plus you have a great English. Like you're so good. Like I'm used to some French
French.
people, and it's like wow. Also, Italians are not that good, of course, but
I know. Like, that's also something I can say I'm proud
yeah.
of.
If you could give three adjectives, three attributes to your journey, what would those be?
Oh dang, that's difficult.
It's always a difficult question. I don't understand why.
Three adjectives to define my journey to Korea. Unexpected is one. Happiness, because they were like it's just like I'm just like super happy and like super great time. And fulfilling. When I say fulfilling, I mean like you just learn about so much. For example, I just go out and my eyes are just like all over the place. Like you don't know where to look. There is signs in Koreans and then temples in the middle of the city. You go to a market, you're like, whoa, there's so much going on. So
That's
it's like wow.
I can I can feel the excitement in your eyes, and it's so nice.
Okay.
Um, okay, so now a little bit more complex question regarding the perception of European Union from the locals' point of view. So,
Hmm.
did you gain any insights on the perspective of the locals, of how they see, especially student maybe, how they see European Union, and what's your opinion on their judgment?
So when I sometimes I meet people and sometimes they just come to you and like, oh, where are you from? Na, na, na. And you start telling them, they're like, oh, Paris or oh, Czech Republic, it's great. I've been there. I want to travel. Or sometimes they've never been and they really want to go. So I think there is like an attraction to Europe and just like going abroad and things like this because when you actually hear a little bit more of the cultural aspect, the culture of South Korea, it's really there is a lot of social pressure about success, the studies,
Mm,
having a great work will mean that you succeed in your life, that you have a successful life. So it's a lot of pressure based on this. So I feel like some people might be attracted to see like because they probably hear that in Europe it's a little bit more different. It's also about being happy and having hobbies or stuff like this. So I feel like there is an attraction for Europe in general.
it's a very interesting point of view because I would expect South Korea differs very much from the others Asian countries like China and Japan, but in this sense, then I would see a pattern because there's also I remember there is this term which indicates the death for too much hours of work in Japanese.
Mhm.
I don't know if you know it, but I will look that up
Yeah,
and put it there so that people can also see that it's not something that I just made up.
yeah, especially young people, I would say. For example, my teachers are also internationals, and some Koreans are in my because I have English class, but some Koreans are it's not fully international, so there's also Korean. So I think they have a also for education because they have a great level of education but also want to learn and speak English or probably also to travel afterwards or I don't know if they consider working abroad or living there. I think that's maybe not, but at least go there for travel or see what's there.
There is this mentality. Okay. Speaking of which, speaking of education, like comparing the education that you had in Hazad and comparing to the one you had in you're having in South Korea, do you find any key comparison points, or I don't know, which one do you think is the best for you?
They're really different. So at Hazard, we really put emphasis on practical approach, practical assignments with group projects and company visit, make it apply to real life experiences. But here is more. I feel like it's more theoretical. It might also depend on the class you take. I know that the number of classes I was also able to take were a little bit more limited because they they have a lot of classes, of course, taught in Korean. But
You cannot take those. Yeah.
yeah, or sometimes in the beginning, I actually experienced that I chose a class, for example, marketing, and it was two international and 20 Koreans. So the teacher was just like, this class is gonna be given in Korean. So we're just like, okay, I need to change. So yeah, that sometimes like it was a pity we couldn't really follow those classes.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's more like theoretical based, and if we don't have like for example group assignments or very few. If you have something maybe an essay to write on your own or study case, but not so much with others. And so yeah, I would say that I enjoy more the practical approach of Hade working in a team because it really teaches you like what's out there afterwards in a company. So yeah.
Okay. This ad was sponsored by Hazard. No. Um, I interview some people from Canada and Spain, and although it's not so near, not so far, their culture is likely similar or parallel to the one of Europe, to the one of
Yeah.
your culture. Although they differentiate in
Hmm.
many ways. But South Korea is definitely different because it's an Asian country,
Yeah.
and yeah. So did you had any concern about it? So what were your main concerns when thinking about this experience, if you had any?
Yeah, of course, I knew it was gonna be super different. But what kind of reassured me is that a year and a half ago, I traveled to Taiwan
Mm.
because my brother is studying there. So we went with my family to visit, and it was the first time I experienced. I was in Asia, so it kind of that was really different. But because I've seen this before, and I was like, okay, I think South Korean culture might be more or less similar. Like for me, what was also reassuring was like, okay, I'm not going to China where I think it would be a biggest cultural shock
Okay.
so because I feel like South Korea will be a little bit more advanced in terms of culture or more similar to Europe. I was, of course, a little bit nervous about the barrier language, the fact that with COVID-19 and the restrictions,
Hmm.
because it was super stressful just to take the plane by myself. Because when you arrive, you need to go to the quarantine place by yourself and get like maybe 3 security checks, do 2 COVID tests. So I was super nervous about this. I was like, okay, it has to go right. But so I think that was my biggest concern based on this.
I see.
But it was not so super anxious. Like it was okay.
Okay, and you brought up a very interesting point, which is uh, the cultural bridge that could mean doing an experience in South Korea. Because, I mean, as I think that we can say that European and also American culture is pretty much everywhere, and now in the recent years, South Korea is giving their with pop culture and K-pop and whatever.
Yeah.
It's blending. So would you
Mhm.
say that if for those who are more interested in Asian countries, would you say that South Korea would be the best combination for not having a great cultural shock? I mean, to have a good cultural shock, but
Yeah.
not too much.
Well, I feel like I could fully respond if I had been like, for example, to China or other countries. But I think, of course, there are differences how they feel, for example, about still men and women, stuff like this. It's really patriotic, patriarchy.
But
how do we say
patriarchic, I think.
patriarchic. It's
Uh,
still like stuff like this.
male-centered, let's say,
Esto es un patriarcado.
with us.
Yeah,
Okay,
there is
okay.
still this vision that can be surprising when we don't know about it. I personally didn't know about it, but in the meantime, there is K-pop, technologies and stuff like this popping out.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a good balance. Of course, there is like kind of um, things that they are advanced and some they are a little bit behind. But I feel like it's a good balance, and you will have a little cultural shock, I think, if you have never traveled really outside of your own country. But if you start already like going, I don't know, for example, to the Netherlands, if you already moved a little bit here and there, then you'll be fine for sure.
Was it hard to find a suitable apartment for you? Are you happy about your choice?
I am super happy about it. The funny story is that we found it on Craigslist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I told you I got in touch with my roommate a little bit before, right?
mm-hmm.
So basically, I looked into Facebook groups, Airbnb, and things like this. And Facebook groups, I posted a little post like, "Hi, I'm looking for a room from this time to this time about this price." And then some people, actually, some girls contacted me like, "Hey, I'm also looking. I'm going to the same uni as you." So I was like, okay, we can have a look together. Like it was around February, so I was going. It was in January, and I was going mid-February. So yeah, a month in advance. It was a bit late because I wasn't sure about my visa yet, so I didn't start looking too
All
early.
right, all the visas are for documentation. I didn't even consider that. Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I also had to book a quarantine place first, or Airbnb for quarantine.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
And then in the end, so one of these girls just sent me this link. Hey, we found this and it looks nice. I think we will go there. It's in this area. It sounds nice. So I opened the link. I look at it. I was like, okay, well, why not? So then I had like video call, and it was nice because the person spoke English. It was a German girl that is in charge of managing the house.
I see.
And then in the end, I was just like, okay, let's do it. Like, I didn't know the girl really much neither. We just talk a few like, hey, you're from Czech Republic? Yeah, I'm from France. I'm going to this uni. Okay.
Normal stuff as international students. Come on.
Yes, and in the end, it's like amazing because it's just 3 floors. We
Mm-hmm.
are around 4 people per floor. We have our own bathroom and one big shared kitchen. You might think like, oh, 12 people for one kitchen is few, but people don't really cook in Korea. We just eat out a lot,
Yeah.
or when you cook, you make noodles. So
Was the food good?
there's so much. It's amazing. Like spicy, not spicy, noodle, rice, meat, chicken. You can. I feel like if you're a vegetarian or a vegan,
Mm-hmm.
you definitely need to learn Korean because
Oh, because
it
there's
will be
lots of recipes about vegetarian and vegan. Yeah.
or because people eat outside a lot, so
Mm-hmm.
you'll need to make, and on the menu, like usually we take a photo and translate it because we don't understand.
Oh.
It's usually not in English or in few places. So yeah, you will need to know like, please, is there eggs or is there milk or meat? You will figure it out. But yeah, they have a lot of meat and fish, and sometimes, like when they eat meat, they eat all the parts of the animal.
I see. I see.
Mm.
It's interesting because I knew that Asian cultures, or at least the one that I saw in some experiences, they tend to eat out a lot instead of cooking in. That would be maybe the normal procedure of a student in Europe, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to ask you about your travels. Like, where did you travel to? And yeah, well, what was the best travels you did in South Korea?
Um. So we've been to a few places, but the best one was, I'm actually going on a trip tomorrow.
Okay.
So
Okay.
maybe it will. Maybe the best trip will be like this weekend, but we'll
Maybe.
see.
Maybe.
So far, it was in Busan. So
Mhm.
Busan is in the south, and we talked about it with my roommates. We're like, oh, why not going there? Because there was a day off, so we just went for 5 days. And then in the end, we started to talk to friends, and we ended up being 15 people going on a trip.
Okay.
So
Wow. 15. Okay.
yeah, so we went by one way by plane and the other way by bus.
Mhm.
So in Busan by the sea. So we went hiking there. We went to visit the temples. And because it's by the sea, they have like a huge fish market. So we also tried eating like the live squid, like kind of octopus.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's like I will tell myself like, don't be shy. You know what you've done, like already accomplished, having good grade, being good students. So don't be shy. Be a little bit more confident because yeah, I just in your own English because I remember when I arrived, I was like, okay, all those people are native English speakers. Like, it's hard. But I'll tell myself like, yeah, just believe in yourself. Go explore, and don't be shy because it's gonna work out. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Art. Oh my God, Arthur. It's my friends from other friends from France. Thank you very much, Barbara.
You're
And
welcome.
yeah, we can finish here.
Yes,
Um,
it was very nice to share this with you. Last weekend we went to a temple and we did 24 hours in a temple stay, and it was
okay.
just like so really experienced like living like a monk. So that
Okay.
was really insolite. Can you say this?
It
Like
was what?
in French we say insolite,
Insolite?
like
You
authentic. It was really authentic
okay.
and
Oh,
unusual,
okay.
I would say.
Unusual. It's unusual, the translation
Yeah,
then. Yeah.
but like unique experience as well. Like I'm not gonna do this back home or something.
That was nice.
I
I will
can send you
maybe
photo of
yeah.
the temple.
Thank you very much. I will have lots of hours to edit this video.
I'm hopeful, yes I am hopeful for today. Take this music and use it, let it take you away.